I recently watched MatPat's playthrough of Security Breach Ruin, the DLC for Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously, Security Breach, and I had a few concerns about it. And this video will be a different style of video in that I'll be doing it unscripted instead of like my typical video essays, but I still hope you enjoy it. If you want a regular video essay on the topic of Five Nights at Freddy's, then I have one. It'll be linked in the description, honestly. First, I want to start out with why Ruin hates Security Breach. And I took a few notes here. And kind of my thoughts in the game are, it's pretty good, but it doesn't do much for Security Breach. And this is kind of a problem in that, well, it's a DLC for Security Breach, not an actual game itself. Although it's long enough to where, like, it's such an extensive, expansive DLC that it, like, kind of is its own game. But, like, I still wouldn't consider it, considering, you know, obviously, like, it's technically a DLC. My first concern is, which ending is canon? And I think when you have like a direct continuation of the story of Security Breach, you kind of need to answer this question. And in a few ways, Security Breach Ruin kind of does. You have the fact that Gregory and Vanessa are not in the Pizzaplex. So it kind of points to the fact that, like, this may be the Vanny ending. Which, if you don't remember, is you've completed all the Princess Quest games, and it's like pretty much the good ending where you, Vanessa, and Freddy's head, more on that later, kind of escape to the hillside and all of that good stuff. And kind of backing it up too, like I said, you don't see Freddy's head in the Pizzaplex. You just see his like regular body. And there's the whole thing with there being a president there. I don't really want to get into that. I don't really understand it that much. I'm honestly waiting for the game theory on the topic, but you have that as well. But you don't have his head. And that kind of points to that being the canon ending. But that brings up a few problems, which we'll get to in a little bit. First, I want to talk about a few other things. But yeah, it's like, you also have the Gregory's comics. And, like, they're a collectible, so I don't expect them to be, like, the canon to be they're in the Pizzaplex, like, in the presence. This is not really how collectibles work, I don't think. It's more of, like, an Easter egg. So them being in the actual Pizzaplex itself probably doesn't mean much. But what do those comics mean? Because Gregory did draw them, and they feature all the different endings. What does that mean for Security Breach as a whole? Did he make up the endings? Are all the endings canon in some way? I'm not really sure about that. Maybe I'll make a future video when I get a little more information on the topic, but honestly, I'm just not really sure on that. Another concern I have is Gregory isn't the focus of the game. And while that's not a bad thing because we have a new character, we hardly get really any answers about him. And that kind of brings up a larger question. There's very little clarification on Security Breach. Why is that? I mean, aside from, like, Lamrock Bonnie, you kind of see him, like, he's like an Easter egg in the game. I didn't see him during MatPat's playthrough, but I know I looked up some other information and stuff, other videos. And you do see him, so there's some clarification on that. And you also get Monty's backstory, which is a not very fleshed out backstory, but, you know, backstory nonetheless. But then where is the Blob? Like, I think you see, I'm pretty sure you see the Blob, and, like, I think it's the beginning of the game, I'm pretty sure. Again, he didn't see it in his playthrough, but I did some more research. So it is there, the Blob is canon, but where is Burn Trap? Is Burn Trap not canon? Or is he something to do with the Mimic? It's like, I don't know, it's just weird, right? Like, why have a full cutscene ending of Burn Trap and the Blob? The whole Pizzaplex burns down, which seems to kind of be canon because the place is absolutely destroyed. It's not like it just shut down, which even if it just shut down, why would it shut down if it wasn't like a big fire? Maybe missing kids, something like that, like the other, you know, FNAF locations. I'm not really sure. But why would it be absolutely destroyed? Like, the animatronics are in complete ruin, And literally, no pun intended. And I find that hard to believe they would be like that if it was like, you know, if it was like not the Burn Trap ending, you know? And it's like, where is Burn Trap then if not with like, because he's a physical body, but is that canon? Is Burn Trap canon? I think that's the big question. And I find it almost impossible to believe none of this stuff would be canon unless they're trying to retcon it or something. And then it's like, what about, you know, Patient 46? You know? Like, where is that? Where's the information on Patient 46? And I think, like I said before, this goes into the problem that it's not really a continuation of Security Breach. We don't really get those answers. That's also because we've kind of already got them in the books. And I think that is where Ruin doesn't really follow Security Breach, but follows the books instead. You have, obviously, if you never read the books or like watched any videos or anything like that, you would have no clue who the Mimic is. I mean, would you? Like, I don't think he's ever mentioned in any of the games. You just wouldn't have any clue. And that's like the main villain. Pretty much the entire plot is centered around the Mimic. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't read the books or didn't watch a video on the books. So if you're a casual fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, you're not really going to get the full story of this Ruined DLC. Like, if someone like Markiplier, I don't think he reads the books or really watches any lore videos. Is he really going to understand the game? Like, if the king of FNAF isn't understanding FNAF, then is it really FNAF? You know? I said FNAF a lot there. And it's not necessarily like, or inherently a problem that it follows the books, but there needs to be some kind of continuation from Security Breach, because like I said, it's the DLC of Security Breach. You have to own Security Breach to play Ruin. Thankfully, it's a free DLC. But I just find that odd that it's a continuation of the books, which I think, honestly, it should have just been a separate game entirely, not a DLC. But at least the books seem to kind of, I guess, answer Security Breach in a way. Mostly like Patient 46, like the GGY story and like stuff like that. Like, I think it's pretty clear Gregory is Patient 46, which then brings up another problem in the, if it's the Vanny ending that's canon, is like, is Gregory like evil? Like, should he be the one with Vanessa? And it's like pretty clear that like Vanessa is with Gregory, because you see in like the regular ending of the game, I guess all the endings of the game rather, you see Gregory's friend, which is Static. It's pretty clearly her. Like, they meant to say her in the Static, and that would have to, you know, mean it's Vanessa pretty much, and she has the layout of the Pizzaplex. Who else would have that, you know? So it's like, if Gregory's evil, why is Vanessa hanging out with him, pretty much? It's like kind of just weird. She might not know. We might get more continuation on that storyline, but the way the things are going, it kind of seems like there's not going to really be continuation of that, especially due to the fact that like Ruin kind of needs a sequel now. Like, Cassie, I think it's pretty implied that Cassie survives at the end of the story, or at least that's like the cliffhanger they're going with, and Roxy survives, because you have, obviously, she's like, oh, Roxy says Cassie after the credits, you know, a little after credit scene. So it kind of needs a sequel. We need these answers now. But the problem with like Security Breach is like, maybe we won't get these answers. You know, maybe they'll be in the books, which doesn't really do a lot for casual FNAF viewers or enjoyers, really. Like, I don't want to say that she completely keep the books and the game separate, because like it is cool that they like kind of go together, but at the same time, it's like two separate stories. You have to view two separate mediums, two separate stories to get the actual one story that FNAF is trying to tell. And like, I don't really think you should have to buy and read a book just to get the plot of the story, or like the continuation, most of the answers that it poses. I don't really think that's right. You know, maybe if you feel free to disagree with me on that, but I think most people would agree with that. And that's really most of my thoughts on FNAF Security Breach Ruin. If you want me to talk about a more scripted analysis, some of the things that that are cool about it or things like that, it's not really my channel's focus. I'm not a FNAF channel or anything like that, but it's an interesting series and one that I've seen all the game theories, like some of them I've seen dozens of times. It's something that I'm very interested in. So like, I'd be willing to do more videos on it, more scripted videos. And like I said, I already have a scripted video on why FNAF tells an uninteresting story, or rather, how to tell an uninteresting story. But if you like this video, give it a like, give it a like, thumbs up, whatever, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And at the end of this video, I want to kind of discuss my horror short film Squid Boy. And when I say discuss, I mean here's a clip.
So we see the rope come undone, and the front of the mattress just flies upward. And you hear Wayne, the best part of the video, you hear Wayne going, "No, no, no! Call your dad! Call your dad!" So literally, the mattress and the second rope came undone, so it flies off of the van and just falls onto the street. And it's right in front of us. We're like have to break suit.
I love you.
Hey! Oh, what's wrong? You don't look well.
Are you feeling okay? Can I get you something to—
Okay.
Eyes, mouth, candy bar, alligator park, slip and slide, cubes, gray, dirty clothes, nails, help, incision, right down the middle, frogs, hanging, I want to cry, 7 o'clock a.m. show, everything show, all poem made, pork chops, and listless service, what does nobody dance for, tap, 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 fives, everywhere, they don't stop, bang, 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 bang.
Fast, and like we're like just
And as always, thank you for watching.